It's the Rome Show!
With your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
I legitimately watched the entire women's triathlon the other day. I gotta tell you, that was exhilarating stuff. But I was locked in because what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV channel 217. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30 and change, and we're going to have a really, really good day talking baseball, talking football, making some picks, and having a jolly old time. Thursday, September 19th, 2024 seems like a great day for everybody to have a great day. Follow us on the social media. That would be The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, the number 1. You can find that on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on TikTok. Wherever you're on social media, follow The Rome Show 1. Then, of course, theromeshowshop.com. That's romeshowshop.com. I got to tell you, for the last month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever the case is, I've been trying to figure out if my excitement for the New York Metropolitans is as good or is as high as it actually is. Okay. And when I got to practice yesterday and I started speaking with some of our players about my belief in the New York Metropolitans, I realized that I am scarred from 33 years of being a Mets fan. And I have to imagine there are people out there, Mets fans, Jets fans, Browns fans, Buffalo Bills fans. There are so many fans out there that must relate to the feeling I have right now. And let me describe it for you, okay? Your team's good, your team's not good. It doesn't matter, okay? At some point in time, what feeling I'm describing is you lose belief in the entire thing, okay? And then you find yourself almost like somebody that is in water that's too deep for them to stand. So every time they want to take a break from their legs or their arms, their head just kind of floats above water, right? That's the feeling I'm talking about. And you're probably like, I don't understand. How is that the feeling? The Mets have been so good over the last 3 months of the season. They've put themselves in wild card contention. What more could you ask for a team that was supposed to be bad? Nothing. You're right. But my point is there's been so many times when this hasn't gone right, that this has gone wrong, that they have been the laughing stock, that it's been the opposite conversation, that right now, while they're playing great baseball and they are trending towards the postseason with 2 weeks left in the year, you almost can't enjoy it if you're a Mets fan because you have so many scars from the past that you're just waiting for the bottom to drop out. You're just waiting for something poor to happen. You're just looking around the next corner saying, okay, it's good down this hallway, but when I take that right there against the Phillies, what's going to happen? And I got to tell you, it is not a fun place to be. And right now, the New York Metropolitans have slid themselves into the second wild card position in the National League. I have the National League wild card standings up on the screen now for anyone that might not have been able to see them yet. The Mets are now tied with the Diamondbacks for the second wild card spot, which means it goes to the Metropolitans because they hold the tiebreaker right now on the Diamondbacks. And because the Braves have not been playing great baseball recently, we have the Braves 2 games back of that third wild card spot / second wild card spot because they are tied. And it is not out of the realm of possibility that the San Diego Padres could lose that 2.5 game first wild card spot lead over the New York Mets. And last night, Every single team that needed to lose lost, except for, every team that needed to win won last night on the National League side. So the movement stayed the same, but it has been drastic since we started following this race a few weeks ago. And it's exciting to be a Mets fan right now. I urge any Mets fan to hold off on the negative feelings. Try your hardest just to root for the team and truly enjoy the fact that for what feels like the first time in roughly 5 to 6 years, not even for the first time in my life, I should say, over the last 5 to 6 years, we've been a pretty relevant ball club. There have been good things. If you go back to the World Series of 2015 that we lost to the Royals, you're looking at, I think, 5 postseason berths since 2015. Now, I'm not saying that making the postseason 5 of the last 9 years is the goal. But when you're looking at a franchise that has had so many poor years and so much lack of consistency in terms of being a good franchise, it is exciting to feel like you've at least reached a plateau of we know that we're going to compete for a postseason spot every single year. We believe that we are a good enough organization now. Our foundation's good enough now. We like the pieces we have to build around for the next 5 to 6 years, that we can have another 5 to 6 years of 3 or 4 postseason berths, which continues to hopefully trend you towards area of we can be in the postseason every single year competing for a World Series. I.e., think Tampa Bay Rays, think Cleveland Guardians, okay? Think Houston Astros the last 10 years, even throwing out the cheating scandal year. That's the type of feel that you're looking to trend towards as a Mets fan. For 2 decades, can we be a relevant competitive team? For 2 straight decades, can this team be somebody that you look at as competing in the National League East and getting into the postseason every year? That's where we are trending. The other flip side here is the Atlanta Braves, the Diamondbacks, and the San Diego Padres are all in that lump of teams. And if you look at the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Mets specifically, those 3 teams have 3 of the 4 best records in Major League Baseball since the All-Star game at the end of July. The Padres are Major League's best team with a 36-17 record since the All-Star break. As a team, they have just done things very well, largely led by their pitching staff and a really consistent offense for that team. The Arizona Diamondbacks have the second best record in Major League Baseball with a 34-20 record. In that same span, Arizona has been crushing baseballs. The Diamondbacks have hit 92 home runs in that span, the most in Major League Baseball by, I believe, like 10 homers. So the Diamondbacks are mashing. The Metsies, they are the 4th best record in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break, right behind the Dodgers. The Mets record since the All-Star break was 34-22. I think a big thing for the Metropolitans has been a consistency at the plate that we really have not seen from the Mets offense all year. In the time span with which I'm talking about, the Mets have the 3rd most run batted ins. It's a hard thing to say plurally. Most RBIs, I should say, 3rd most in Major League Baseball, which means they were driving in runs. And by the way, the walks and the HBPs also up for the Metropolitans, which is huge for that offense. Okay. So the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres are the best teams in baseball since late July. And last time I checked, okay, that is the time that matters. So if you look at the 6 best teams in Major League Baseball since the middle of July, essentially, You have 4 teams, 5 teams in Major League Baseball, the top 5 teams, all from the National League. Team number 6, the Detroit Tigers, which we'll get to in a second. 7, the Astros, then 8, the Cubs. So the National League, more so in the second half of the season, has really begun to figure it out. And now I lean towards who is going to be my favorite team to win this thing going into the postseason. And I am leaning into that group of 4 or 5 teams as the teams, if I do plan to put bananas down, that I am going to look to go after. Let's switch this thing now. Let's check out the AL wildcard standings. Right now, the Detroit Tigers are doing everything in their power to get into this playoff race. Last night, of the 4 teams in this race, the Royals, the Twins, the Mariners, and the Tigers were the only team to win in that mix. They've also won 4 straight and 8 of their last 10. Okay. And if you remember what we just spoke about, the Tigers, since the All-Star break, are 32 and 23, playing really good baseball. And they had to make up a lot of ground. And oh, by the way, the teams in front of them, like the Twins, had to play bad baseball. Twins are 26 and 29 in that same stretch. And if you see, you go all the way to the right side on the standings on the screen, they are 4 and 6 in their last 10. The Royals are 4 and 6 in their last 10, having lost 4 straight. And the Mariners are 5 and 5 in their last 10. Boston's 4 and 6 in their. The AL wildcard race teams really sputtered down the stretch. And the only team that didn't in that mix of teams was the Detroit Tigers. Here are the rest of their records. The Rays 26 and 29, the Mariners 25 and 29, all since the All-Star break. And that is why we have the race that we have. Yesterday, the New York Yankees, they clinched the AL East. We have the Yankees in the postseason winning the AL East. So that's huge for the Yankees. I think we've talked a lot about, maybe not we, but it has been talked a lot about how the Yankees are this organization that believes in championships. We win championships. It's championship or bust, blah, 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 blah. Personally, I think that's a mantra that cannot exist anymore. There is too much parity in sports through the opportunity to make money or pay players like we've never seen before. Yes, I would think that the Miami Marlins, the Oakland A's, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or whatever the hell their name is, these teams, right, that don't have a lot of financial capital off the jump are teams that we get used to saying the Royals are going to have 2 or 3 years of being good, then they're going to go back to being bad for 3 or 4 years, then they're going to draft, do well, have those guys on rookie contracts, then they're going to do good for 3 to 4 years. The Tampa Bay Rays are really the only not large or great financially driven team, if I said that correctly, but I think you get my gist, that continually wins, okay? But for the most part, the top 16 teams in the league, you believe could make the postseason every year, mainly because of their financials and where they stand in terms of being able to pay free agents, whereas that bottom 16 fall into a category of they're going to be in spurts of greatness. And I say all that to say this. The Yankees are no longer necessarily, from the standpoint of the wins and losses, in that top 16, top 8, we think they can be in the postseason and win every year category. Now, that might sound crazy. It's not meant to be a hot take. Not at all. It's really just meant to be the truth. They have not been in the World Series since winning it in 2009. And 2 times in that same stretch, they didn't make the postseason. Now, you might say, well, Andrew, that means 13 or 15 years they did make the postseason. Yes, but the standard in New York for the Yankees is not just make the postseason. The standard is if you don't win a championship, it's not considered a successful season, which also is not fair in its own right as well. So the Yankees winning the AL East, I feel like this is just really, that's just my feeling as where the weight off their players' shoulders is knowing now, hey, we won the AL East. There's no more of this wild card round situation we have to deal with. And I feel like with a team that has pressure on them, like a New York-based team, has pressure on them because they are the New York Yankees, has pressure on them because they arguably have one of the top 2 players in Major League Baseball right now. Maybe 3. I mean, they might have 2 of the top 3 players in Major League Baseball in Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. At least in given spurts, they are as well. That's a lot of pressure to go in as a wild card team, and it looked a little bleak midway through the year. So kudos to the Yankees for locking up the AL East, and I think this could be a year. I'm not going to sit here and predict them to go to the World Series, but I do think if you look at the way the AL has been trending heading into the postseason, even some of the best teams in the AL, i.e. the Baltimore Orioles, have not played very well in the second half of the season. Even further, into right now, into this moment, the Orioles are 2-8 in their last 10. If you look on the right side of the AL standings, there are a lot of teams 500 or under the last week and a half and change of their season. That needs to flip dramatically if they're a playoff team and they think they can contend. That's why I feel like the Yankees have a really good chance here. Let's put the NL standings up on the board. Milwaukee Brewers clinched last night. I find that really funny, because there's a team over there called the Chicago Cubs with which their old coach went to. And I think that's awesome for Milwaukee. You know, they've won the division, the NL Central, 3 of the last 4 years. So I'm a little confused as to why Craig Counsell left. Hey, maybe the 1 year they didn't make it was because of him. That's why he left. But the Cubs aren't making the postseason, and the Brewers get the last laugh in this scenario. And I got to tell you, I love when sports happens, okay? I love when you get a scenario where karma in sports happens the right way. You know, I had something happen yesterday in our program with a coach, and you don't sit there and you don't wish ill on somebody, but the people, they don't ever understand your feeling on it until they get a negative reaction from it. And you don't really ever have coaches in Major League Baseball leave their organization while their team is good. The Brewers have been good the last 4 or 5 years, been consistently good. That doesn't happen to leave an interdivision rival. That doesn't happen. There was no need. He didn't get pushed out the door. They didn't want him to leave. He left on his own. And I love that a year later, the Brewers get the last laugh. Oh, you wanted to go be the manager of the Cubs? You think Chicago's situation is better than Milwaukee's situation? Okay, well, you enjoy golf this offseason, and we're going to enjoy the postseason. Gosh, I love when karma like that hits. It's not mean. It's not disruptive. It's not reckless. It is honest. Honest karma back on Craig Counsell. I'm a huge Brewers fan right now. Outside of the Mets possibly playing them if they ever did in the postseason, I'm a big Brewers fan right now because I thought that situation sucked about a year ago, and now it looks like they have the last laugh. I think that the West and the East are going to either have 2 to 3 teams in, and everybody else is getting 1 in. Now, the question becomes, will it be the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers, along with the Mets in the postseason? Will it be the Braves, the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Arizona Diamondbacks? Maybe it's going to be the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Padres. So much could shape up right now. So much could shape up right now. And it's going to be a fun down the stretch race. We got Michael Carvelis writing in. God, we love when Mikey jumps in on the show. He has 2 points for the people, and I got to say, I'm going to put both of them up on the screen because I feel it. First, to the way we started the show, he said he felt like that was him with Georgia football before Kirby Smart. If you didn't see the start of the show, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast, or the replay on Dingo TV, channel 217, started the show talking about how with the Mets, as a Mets fan, you never believe it's good until it actually happens. And still then you almost don't believe it's as good as you think it is. And then this was the other point from Mike. Well, Milwaukee was more successful based on recent history. Cubs could be good if this guy is a good coach. I love that point. He's right. he is right. The last 5 years, it's Milwaukee over Chicago. Maybe that's why. Maybe he wanted the challenge. I have no idea. But for me, I would never want to put myself in that position. I guess, listen, money speaks. I'm none of these people. I'll take any of these jobs. But great point out of Michael there. If you want to write into the show like Mike did, you can comment on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on 12ouncesports.com, and we can pop that up on the screen for the people. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to towel off here, heat up the coffee, hopefully not spill it on myself as we've done in the past during this show. And then we are going to get into Thursday night football. The New York Jets are facing off the New England Patriots. MetLife Stadium, New Jersey, 8:25 tonight, Amazon Prime. We break it all down here. The Rome Show, 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV, channel 217.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right. At 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Yeah. Rome Show here, 12ouncesports.com. Dingo TV, channel 217. We got like 6 or 7 minutes left or so here, and that is the perfect amount of time to talk National Football League. What a week it has been in the National Football League, starting with what happened with Tua Tagovailoa a week from today, last week, and then moving into just a lot of major injuries, a lot of teams performing better or worse than we thought. Just, I think, a lot of good stuff for the National Football League right now. A lot of fun. That's the best way I can put it. If you missed our show 2 days ago, I ranked the best 2-0 teams. There are 9 teams going into this weekend at 2-0. And we did that ranking on a show 2 days ago. So if you want to get in on the action and check that out, I think that those teams, most of them are going to trend to be in the mix towards the end of the year. Tonight, we got the Jets hosting the Patriots. Now, a little history on this matchup is the fact that the Patriots had dominated the Jets up until the final game of Bill Belichick's career last year, okay? And I think it's pretty easy to look at the Jets situation from last year. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, first game of the season, Achilles, all the things, 4 plays in, Zach Wilson, atrocious, all the other people they started, just a merry-go-round of problems at the quarterback position for the Jetropolitans, okay? At the End of the season, they found a way. The Patriots were also just a mess. They knew it was over with Bill Belichick. They had to reset that entire franchise with Gerard Mayo. Jacoby Brissett's at quarterback now. And the Jets get a victory. And you would think you'd want to roll that into the next year's games. Well, unfortunately, especially in football, none of that stuff matters. What happened the year before, how you ended the season, it don't matter. There's so much drastic changing in football. Teams are so different year to year. Even if it's 15 players changed, that's a big difference, especially if they're in key positions like offensive or defensive line, quarterback, safety, wide receiver, tight end, those positions, okay? And there's no lie here that the Jets have not really gone through a crazy change. There was not much needed to be done in the offseason because they believed that their acquisition would be Aaron Rodgers being healthy. They thought they got a great trade in Hassan Reddick, which now looks like a terrible decision. And when you go into this game versus the Patriots, on paper, before the season started, as far as the beginning of week 2, when I was looking at the Jets at 0-1 going into Tennessee, I'm like, the Jets should be 2-1 coming out of the next 2 weeks of play. That's not to take away anything from the Patriots. That's what it looks like on paper. And the Jets should be led by their defense, and Aaron Rodgers, as he gets back and going, he should then get the offense rolling and good things should happen. The offense started to give you a little bit of that feel, but the defense, which should have been and is for the last 2 years, their strong point, has not been. So the key to this game comes down to the New England Patriots running offense, led by Ramondre Stevenson, against the New York Jets running defense. Here are the numbers, okay? Right now, Ramondre Stevenson has 46 rushing attempts for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns, okay? The New York Jets currently as a team give up 155 yards per game, okay? That is their team defense. That is good for like 23rd in the league. The Jets have also given up 701 total yards through the first 2 games, also good for 23rd in the league. And when looking at the New England Patriots, who their quarterback is and what they need to do to be great, they have figured it out, and it's dominate the run game. The Pats are 5th in professional football through the first 2 weeks of running the football with 177.5 yards per game. That is the game tonight. Doesn't matter who plays quarterback for the Jets. Does not matter who plays quarterback for the Patriots. The game tonight comes down to, can the Jets defense play as good as the Jets defense is supposed to be, or can the New England Patriots hold the football, run the rock like they have for the last 2 games, keep this a low-scoring game, and drag out this football game? The Pats, neither of the 2 games the Pats have played this year have gone over a combined 33 points. Total of 26 in the first game and 33 in the second game. The Pats have had a chance to win both. The only way they have a chance to win these football games is if they dominate the ground game like they did in their first 2 games of the season. And unfortunately, the Jets don't look great on the ground. To finish it here, my intangible for the New England Patriots is the connection between Hunter Henry and Jacoby Brissett. In 2 games so far, Hunter Henry has 10 receptions for 127 yards. That might not seem like a crazy amount, but for Hunter Henry, after week 1 of having 2 receptions, to come out and have 8 in the second game and be seen as a legitimate option for Jacoby Brissett, that's huge for this Patriots team. And in comparison, Garrett Wilson, reigning rookie of the year from 2 years ago, one of the best wide receivers in the league, has 10 receptions for 117 yards through 2 games. So that's a huge X factor right there. Which of the two leading receivers will play like a leading receiver, give that option to their quarterback, and then help run that offense? The other thing I'd say about the Jets is those two running backs, Breece Hall and the rookie Allen. How can that two-headed monster continue to work the way it did in Tennessee? Let's pick this game right now for the people and finish this show. It's daily banana times. Get your bushel ready. Make sure you choose yellow bananas that are not too brown, though. That's important. They'll taste better. Okay, we went 1-1 last night. I had Kettle Marte with a hit. He went 0 for 4. I got to stop picking people to get hits. The only picks I seem to not do well in is a hitter to get a hit. So I'm going to stay away from that. But I did choose the Tigers to beat the Royals straight up, and they did do that, as we mentioned before. So we went 1-1. We are 90 and 75 overall. Here is what I got tonight. We are going to pick the Jets and the Patriots game. So I found Ramondre Stevenson at rushing yards over 64.5. I'm hammering that over. I also found Ramondre Stevenson. This is on Sports Duel or Fan Bananas, whatever you want me to call it. Ramondre Stevenson over 16.5 rushing attempts. Give me that as well. And then I took already the Pats at +6. I have seen since the show started, it has trended to the Pats plus. I have met Pats +6.5. It's trended to Pats +6. So there is money going on the Jets or the Pats to have more of a chance to win this game. Originally opened at the Jets as a touchdown favorite. I think that no one feels that as well. So I'm going to finish this with the game staying under 38.5 points. So we have Ramondre Stevenson over 16.5 rush attempts, over 64.5 yards. I have the Pats at +6.5. Hey, I'll take them at +6 too, if that's the line you can get now. And then I have the game total under 38.5 points. And I hope that wins the people bananas. And I hope you enjoyed the Rome Show today. 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV channel 217. I urge you to visit Rome Show shop. I urge you to go to 12ouncesports.com, and I urge you to follow us on social media, Instagram, X, Twitter, all Facebook, the things. I am Andrew Romanella telling you to be electric. I will see you on Friday saying peace.
Thank you for listening.